Cork Hurling manager Kieran Kingston, ahead of the Dublin match this week, we might first just ask how have things been going since the defeat to Waterford in Páirc Uí Rinn?
The defeat is quite fresh. I suppose that's one of the things about the league. The games come quite fast. We have 5 games over 6 weeks. This is the one time we have a 2-week break, and what we've done was we left the players all go back to their clubs this weekend, and we're getting together again tomorrow night. So we've had a look at it, but we haven't discussed it in a huge amount of depth because it's all about the next game.
So there's an element of freshness, hopefully, anyway, when the guys come back, having had a break from the inter-county set-up and returning to ye.
Yeah, we hope so, yeah. I think it's good to get a break. It brings them back to their clubs and they're playing with their own teammates and whatever, and that's good for them as well because it's been quite concentrated since we got together before Christmas between gym work and physical training and now back onto the pitch doing a lot of hurling. So it's good for them, yeah, and hopefully see a bit of a freshness now on Saturday night.
The collective feeling after the Waterford defeat seemed to be that while it was a disappointing result, you were happy that the performance was better than the Galway game.
Yeah, I mean, we were very disappointed with our performance against Galway, not because we lost, and we know all these games, especially when you travel, are very difficult. We just felt that we didn't do ourselves justice on the day. I don't think our attitude was right, our work rate was right. We just left Galway dictate the game from once Seamus Harney went off, but that's not an excuse because any player, you lose a player, you will lose players all the time as part of the game, and it shouldn't have that significant an impact on a team performance, and we felt that it did, and that was disappointing.
So now preparing for Dublin in Croke Park against an old colleague of yours, of course, as well, Ger Cunningham. It's an intriguing tie. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's I suppose I won't say a must-win game, but it's certainly close to it from our perspective. We've had 2 defeats. We're going away to Dublin, who didn't have a great outing first day against Tipperary, but recovered fantastically by beating Galway and beat them well. So they're going to be on a high. We've come off 2 defeats, they've come off a great win, so it's a very tough assignment for us going up to Croke Park, where you'll have a huge crowd, given that it's a double header with the football, Dublin and Cork football as well, and Dublin I think we'll have a few support on the day or on the evening, so it is a very difficult one for us. We're certainly going all out for it because we have 2 very tough games after it again with Kilkenny and Tipperary, one after the other, so it's a tough run in.
It must change your approach to the game when you need that result, because we always talk about how performance is key in these league games, but maybe there isn't room for the experimentation you'd like when relegation is on the horizon if you don't get results soon.
Yeah, it's difficult. That's the difficult thing. It's the challenge because you're trying to get a balance between giving panel players and players that say younger players coming through an opportunity to play at that level, and at the same time trying to avoid relegation, which we're obviously trying to do. That's easier if you have a winner or a couple of wins early in the campaign. We haven't had that, so it makes it more difficult now as you head into the last 3 games to experiment a lot. But that's the nature of the league at the moment, and it has pros and cons, and it's ideal if you have your 4 or 5 points on the board. But unfortunately, we don't. So you tend to go a little bit stronger than for these games when you need to get the points.
Pressure, Kieran. Are you under pressure at this stage in the year, given the last 2 games?
No, absolutely. I was involved for 3 years before, and we played Division 2, and only for I was coaching the team at the time. We played poorly in Division 2 for a lot of the games, and because I think it was awfully did us a favour drawing with Limerick that we ended up being promoted up to Division 1, and we went on after we won the Munster Championship. So it's early days. We as a new group, we've a management team and panelists, we're only working together for a couple of months. We've only had 2 competitive games together, so I mean it's no. I don't. If you were worried about pressure or public perception, you wouldn't be going into this job. You're as good as your next game, and that's where we're looking at it. I suppose from an overall perspective, we are quite happy with the panel of players we have. We're quite happy how training has gone, and we're quite happy that the plan we set out for training, we're on plan for our plan, so to speak. And we're disappointed that we haven't had a couple of results go our way. Absolutely, of course we are. But in terms of where we want to take this group, and I'm very happy with the group we have, and I'm very happy with the management team and the way we're working together.
That's a message Cork supporters, I think, will be glad to hear, because they kind of wonder, we all wonder, looking from the outside in, there's been 2 defeats, but you're very happy with how things are going.
Yeah, we are happy with how things are going. Of course, we'd be happier if we had 2 wins. Yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, we are where we are. We set out a plan for ourselves until the end of the league. From a training perspective, things are not going to change overnight in terms of the way we play, or in particular where you're trying to manage the expertise of a number of individuals that have come to work together for the first time, and that's going to take a little bit of time. And I think, in fairness to Cork public, I think they realise that, and they realise that we prefer to be where we are now, albeit we'd like to have a couple of pints on board, rather than to be blowing the lights out now and come championship we're not at the races.
Well, that's one aspect of possibly after the Waterford defeat. The kind of consensus was, well, Waterford were very far along in a game system and that they've developed, whereas I suppose you're new to that and still trying to work on things. And speaking to Patrick Horgan after the game, he kind of he identified that Waterford an awful lot way further ahead than you are possibly in organising yourselves under this new management setup.
Totally. You have to give great credit to Waterford. Waterford played a system which is very difficult to break down. We saw that the week before when they played Kilkenny, and Kilkenny, I think, had no score from playing one half and only 3 points or 4 points over the course of 70 odd minutes. So, and they had 13 or 12 or 13 of their all-Ireland winning team. So it is a difficult system to play against. There's no doubt about that. And fair credit due to them. And they made it difficult for us as well for 3/4 of the game. Saying that, they are playing that system for, I think it's 2.5, 3 years now. And they developed it well, and it's going very well for them. So we've 2 games, they've had 2.5 years. So I think we all have to be patient here. Hopefully we're on a journey. I think we're very well organised. Everybody's doing everything that they can possibly at the moment to turn things around. We have a number of I suppose strong characters who are doing great work within the structure, and it's coordinating their expertise into one group that we're trying to do, and that's not going to happen overnight.
Finally, can I ask you, for the Dublin game, what sort of a Cork team do you think we can expect to see? It's early in the week, obviously, but
we'll assess that now during the week. We'll certainly be going as strong as we possibly can, depending on injuries and depending how training goes this week and how guys recover. When we get guys back from the club, see what kind of state they're in and whatever. We're obviously missing Alan Cadigan as well as the injuries. Alan is suspended for the next 2 games, which is he's a big loss to us. So we'll just have to see. We'll assess it on Thursday night to know who's going well during the week and injuries and whatever. But we expect to have a strong team for Saturday night.
That was very disappointing for Alan, obviously, and G as a management team to not have him as an option. But if you're going to lose a player in one area of the field, I suppose your forward line is very, very competitive.
Well, it is. Alan would be a huge loss to us because we'd love to have him in Croke Park, and also against Kilkenny. He came on against Waterford and made a huge difference when he came in. I thought the way he showed for the ball and his hunger and appetite was fantastic. So it was a big loss for us, in particular, to be sent off for such a trivial thing. And really, look, I don't want to comment publicly too much on it for obvious reasons, but a 2-match ban for that is I think it speaks for itself when people look at the video. I don't even think there was contact, to be honest. So,
is there any situation where you go to the referees or anything like that to talk to them about it and the harshness, say appealing it or anything like that?
Yeah, no, the decision was taken not to appeal it. No. Okay. Yeah.
Kieran, the very best of luck to you in Dublin, and thanks for coming in to us.
Not at all. It's very welcome. Thank you.